Week 18, the Donnie and Kyle Show, ready to rock and roll and get after it today. Kyle, one last lap to do around the neighborhood, and I guarantee you it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, Week 18, it's the first ever Week 18. It's pretty exciting stuff, of course, a lot of games and a lot of moving parts, and we, have a few weather concerns and lots of players out, lots of teams not playing for anything, but a few really interesting games. Just enjoy the bonus week, have a few drinks, have some fun. You and I both have some team totals. I know we're on the same page on a couple of team totals, so I'm looking forward to today.
No, looking forward to it as well. And by the way, you see the new setup here there? This set costs a lot of money. See this huge arena that we're sitting in here right now at Bookmakers.
Oh, look at that.
Crowd likes it as well. Keep in mind also, all we ask you guys to do, hit the subscribe button, turn that notification bell on. When we go live at Bookmakers Review, you'll get it delivered directly to your inbox. If you're watching through there on Twitter, give us a follow at BMR Reviews. But it's time to get down to business today, Kyle. I have 7 wagers that I've placed already. We'll get to our best bets at the end of the show. And certainly as we go line by line, game by game, we're going to keep everybody in the know. Let's not waste any more time here, Kyle. Green Bay and Detroit, 451, 452. If we take a look here, this line opened up at the FanDuel Sportsbook at a -11 price. Now sits at 3.5. Why? Green Bay doesn't need this game. They clinched everything. Aaron Jones is sitting out. I have no idea why Aaron Rodgers is even going to play one snap in this game, Kyle, but a total of 44.5. Give me the points with Detroit. I'll say it simple.
Yeah, I mean, if you're betting it, it's Detroit or nothing, dog or pass here. I wouldn't touch this game. Just way too many unknowns. And even if the Packers bring in the backups, how much do we really trust Jared Goff and that Lions offense? I know they'll have DeAndre Swift. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been, we kind of sort of made fun of him earlier in the year. I know I did. I can't back a team whose only weapon is Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's turned into a really nice young rookie receiver. He gets open. I believe he's had 8 catches in 5 straight games. It's tied for a rookie record. He could break Calvin Johnson's Lions record as well if he gets 5 catches again. So some positives there with those young playmakers, St. Brown and Swift there, if Swift can sort of deal with the injury issues. But for me, there's just better spots today. Way too many unknowns with the Packers. I wouldn't touch this game unless I'm betting the underdog in the Lions.
Yeah, Green Bay's not winning this game. I'm telling it right now. And if Green Bay does, then I need Dan Campbell to be fired. And also, sort of me gets it in the way, Kyle, because like the Dallas Cowboys last night, they put up 51 points. That's great. Imbecile for playing any one of their starters last night. The Philadelphia Eagles had the right approach. Who gives a damn with this? So I'm giving my entire team a bye. Dallas played because they want to get back on track. So, yeah, they got back on track against 4th-string players. That's really going to help them once you get into next week. Bizarre. It's almost, Kyle, if you said, the Philadelphia Eagles said, we're going to play all our starters. We're going to knock the hell out of the Cowboys. And the Cowboys go, you know what? It's a great measuring stick for getting into the playoffs. Let's wipe the Eagles off the field and head in. What do you gain from beating? It's like, Kyle, you're a high school kid and you beat up on a bunch of 3rd graders. Oh, man, that felt good getting back in rhythm. What?
Mike McCarthy, you ever watch Deal or No Deal, and you got that idiot contestant with the stupid family always telling them to take one more case, and they do, and they end up leaving with $5 and they melt. Mike McCarthy was that guy. Now, he got lucky. He didn't lose an important player, but it made absolutely no sense. What's the difference between being the 4 seed and the 2 seed unless you, maybe get lucky in that second round? Would you rather be the 4 seed and have Dak Prescott or the 2 seed and start, Ben DiNucci? But Mike McCarthy, we've said it time and time again, one of the lowest IQs you will ever find on the NFL sideline.
Now, this Detroit-Green Bay game, again, I'm taking Detroit in this. And I think Detroit has a legitimate chance to win this outright, and they should, because by the 3rd drive, if Aaron Rodgers is staying in before, past the first quarter, Matt LaFleur is just the biggest. He might be with Mike McCarthy. Maybe it's something in the water in Green Bay where coaches just lose their mind. There is no reason to have Aaron Rodgers out there, except if you say, hey, look, we would take a bye week, but I don't want to give my guys essentially 3 weeks off before they play football, and I get that. So if you want to get some snaps out there, protect them, put your starters out there for the first 3 series, I would understand that. But after that, Kyle, no point in that. Let's get to Chicago and Minnesota. 453, 454. Andy Dalton, the starter here for the Chicago Bears, which I love today. I really do. Kirk Cousins, the starter here for Minnesota. This line peaked at about 5.5 here, now down to 3.5 on game day, Kyle, and I fully agree with that here. If you're taking a look at Chicago, 44.5 is the total in this game. I like the over in this game, but my favorite wager of the week, which you guys know, we have wagers. I tweeted out with the ticket that I have. Took it early in the week, over 18 at -135. I told all of you, they're getting into the 20s in this game. I don't think you have any issues, but I got the 18 Kyle. My favorite bet of the week is that Chicago team getting over, 20 or so points in this one.
I mean, yeah, we're on the same page here. I tweeted out as well. Bears team total, it's at BetMGM, over 19.5, -135. For all the reasons you mentioned. First of all, the Vikings secondary stinks. They're without their best linebacker now. They have absolutely nothing to play for. Sean Mannion is going to be the quarterback. So I mean, I know Kirk Cousins isn't a world beater, but you feel a lot better about Sean Mannion turning the ball over and a lot more 3-and-outs and winning the field position battle with him at quarterback. I like the Bears today. I like Cole Kmet a lot, over 29.5 receiving yards, minus 115. I think with Andy Dalton throwing in the ball, he's a much more competent passer than Justin Fields. I think the Bears get to 20 points. It's also my favorite team total of the day. Bears team total over 19.5, and I really, really do like that Cole Kmet over 29.5. I see him having a nice day today.
Yeah, Jonas saying both coaches' last games in Chicago and Minnesota. Looks like it's possible. Matt Nagy, we know, is going, but there's a lot of question marks circling around Mike Zimmer today. And I doubt if Mike Zimmer wins this game, it saves his job. They probably already have the mind made up whether he's coming back or not. But if I'm looking at Chicago here, Allen Robinson's healthy, Montgomery is healthy, a banged up and depleted secondary, a game in a dome that doesn't mean much, which means, Kyle, 4th and 2 from the 48-yard line. We're not punting this back. We are going for it on both sides, which should equate to points for either team. So I like Minnesota's team total technically, but my favorite, again, is that Chicago team total over 18. Let's see if it catches in today. Indianapolis and Jacksonville, next game up on the card here. Rotation number 457, 458. Indianapolis going to start Carson Wentz, obviously Trevor Lawrence here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Heady number, Kyle, opened up at 9.5, now sits at north of obviously 9.5 at 2 touchdowns here. A minus 14 across the board. And if you look at the over-under, a 43.5. I'm not into taking teams that just need to win and not get style points in order to make the playoffs. But the one thing I do have lined up here is I took a couple odds boosts here and rushing props here. Jonathan Taylor, 200 rushing yards or 3 touchdowns in this game, plays plus 450. I think there's a legitimate chance that he has a monster first quarter. So you ride that course all the way through. And also in the FanDuel Sportsbook, Jonathan Taylor, 100 rushing yards or more and a Colts victory is plus 100. I bet both of those. Colts win today. Not really all that interested, though, Kyle, in taking a minus 14 number, though.
Yeah, and I'm just to address the situation in the chat box, Kirk Cousins is not starting. I'm fairly sure here he's on the COVID list. He is active. So Kirk Cousins is active. That's been updated. Yeah. So he will start tonight. So that can only actually, probably help the Bears team total, push the issue a little bit there. That's going to help that Vikings total as well. So my mistake there. Just saw the update. Obviously things with COVID are changing. Kirk Cousins will be there for Minnesota in this game. First things first, Colts are going to win this game. I think we all know that. They should dominate this game. Am I going to take them 10.5? I probably would. I do think they probably cover the spread here. You're not getting a lot of value on the team total. You need them to get to 30 points. Are they going to need to get to 30 points to beat Jacksonville? Probably not, but they might just get there in the first half by default because Jacksonville is so damn bad. How about this prop? Jonathan Taylor, over 10.5 receiving yards, minus 120. I mean, that's just one little pass play to Jonathan Taylor. We've seen him crush that number over and over again. I love that prop in this one. It's Colts or nothing for me in this one. I think they get it done. I like the Colts players in DFS. Carson Wentz, there's not a lot of great quarterback options near the top. Tannehill, Carson Wentz. I like Carson Wentz in DFS. You want to pair him with Michael Pittman. You want to say get some value and go to T.Y. Hilton. Maybe he finds him in the end zone again. Jonathan Taylor should have a massive, massive game like that prop over 10.5 at minus 120.
Gotcha. No, absolutely. I do think it works out that way. Indianapolis is going to win this football game. We just don't know how I'm not comfortable in laying 14 or more, which means they probably have to win by 3 touchdowns. Can they? Sure they can. But I'd rather see them up 7 points in the fourth quarter going, you know what, let's not press the issue here and run this clock out. So I think Jonathan Taylor has a big day as well. 463, 464, trying to pin down that top overall seed, Kyle, in the AFC. That's the Tennessee Titans and Ryan Tannehill on the road against the Houston Texans and Davis Mills. A double-digit line here, minus 10.5 as a road favorite for the Titans, over under of 42.5. I have the same prognosis, Kyle, that I've had all week long here. I think Tennessee dispatches Houston fairly easily. Oh, but did you see him, Donnie, the week before, when they played before they won, it was pouring rain. They were banged up. You get a much more healthy Tennessee Titans team in here, which needs to win this football game. I think they get it done and paste Houston in this one. I'll lay the 10.5 in this one. If we're going to lay the 10.5, that probably means Tennessee's in the high 20s, Kyle. There's a legitimate chance that they get over that 42.5 as well.
Yeah, I like the over in this game, and I'll tell you. And Andres, you're right. My mug has a little bit of coffee, but there's a lot more whiskey and Baileys in here. I like to do a little mixture on Sunday mornings, and yes, that is absolutely a Creed shirt Donnie's wearing. He's got the Nickelback socks on, so he's rocking all the good bands today. I'm with you. I like the Titans. I like them a lot here. I like the Titans team total. I put that out on Twitter. It's over 26.5 at minus 135. I think they hit that relatively easily. A.J. Brown has a fantastic matchup against that Houston secondary and Terrence Mitchell. Ryan Tannehill's fantastic in DFS. Deontay Foreman. I loaded up on Tennessee in that early window over there on FanDuel. I like the Titans offense quite a bit. And if you want some pain, Texans team total over 16.5 at plus 110. That's absolutely live. Now, the Titans defense, this is, if you look at teams from last year to this year, probably the most improved defense in the entire league. I know everyone's really happy with how Dallas has improved, but the Tennessee Titans have really stepped it up and changed their identity on the defensive end. Titans team total over 26.5. They get it done. I don't mind that Texans team total at plus money at plus 110 over 16.5, and I'm with you. I'll take the over in this game. If I'm looking at player props for this one, A.J. Brown props over 66.5 yards receiving minus 115. He should get that in the first half. I like that quite a bit as well.
Does the crowd like it, Kyle? I don't even know if we can hear the crowd. Is the crowd too loud for us here?
I haven't heard the crowd once.
I know.
The crowd likes it. Okay, and we're seeing the chat box say like it.
Don't feel the need to. You can chime in anytime you want out here. Let's get after it now. The crowd is now involved because it's a bad time to get the crowd involved because of 465, 466, Washington, and the New York Giants. The only question coming out of this game is, will the Giants get 2 or more first downs? Will they be able to score? And does Joe Judge make it until the fourth quarter as the head football coach of the New York Giants? Now, having said that, minus 6.5 for Washington on the road. Guys, I'm not interested in that. A little bit of, cold, rainier conditions in the Meadowlands today, over under 36. I'm not even interested in that, Kyle. Quite frankly, why is this game being played? They should have just canceled it.
Yeah, the only thing I like in this game, I'll take some of these passing props. I know the weather stinks.
Oh.
Taylor Heineke over 207.5. He should get that. Terry McLaurin over 52.5 minus 115. He's torched the Giants earlier in the season. If you remember in that game, James Bradbury, who's a pretty good man corner, is just not fast enough or quick enough to keep up with Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin should be open in this game and feast on that defense. He's 6,700, I want to say, on FanDuel. Nice DFS play, but I like that over 52.5 yards minus 115. I considered for a brief moment the Washington team total over 22.5. I just couldn't pull the trigger. Something felt a little trappy, and I'm not even sure they're going to need to score more than 14 points to beat the Giants here. Jake Fromm is obviously not an NFL quarterback. It's sort of they may as well just throw you or I out there and let it ride. It's Washington or nothing for me. They should win this game by a touchdown, but again, this is a stay away spot for me. Let's just hope we don't see a lot of this on the red zone.
No. Yeah, and to spend 2 minutes on that game is 2 minutes too long now. Let's keep moving down. 471, 472. Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Ben Roethlisberger. Will this be his last start in the NFL? Possibly. Huntley's going to get the start because Lamar Jackson, for some reason, has the worst ankle injury in the history of mankind here. Now, this line opened up around that 6 range, Kyle. It's down to 3. And I don't know maybe, did you watch the game last week? Like, oh, man, Pittsburgh's just going to get on a hot streak now for some reason. I want nothing to do with the Pittsburgh Steelers whatsoever in this football game. I'll take the Baltimore Ravens, and also whatever you want to give me on Big Ben, under touchdown passes, under passing yards, under their team total. Sign me up for those rainy weather conditions down in Baltimore here. Big Ben was atrocious last week. He will be atrocious again today.
Yeah, I was really, really close to pulling the trigger on the Ravens team total over 20.5. Yeah. I like Tyler Huntley. I actually like the Ravens team totals a little bit more when it's Huntley and not Lamar Jackson. The reason being not because Huntley's better than Lamar Jackson, they're going to necessarily score more points, but because he's more of an apt passer. They're going to have more designed throwing plays, which means if there's incompletions, bigger chunk plays. When Lamar Jackson's in the game, they run it, sort of take the joy out of the game. It's run. Next thing you know, it's an 8-minute drive. Going to have more explosive plays in the passing game with Huntley, so I considered it. I didn't end up pulling the trigger, but I was really, really close. I will say Huntley over 205.5 passing. I could see him getting there at minus 105. But you mentioned the interceptions. Let me look at Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger to throw 1 interception, minus 125. You're going to see an interception today at a Big Ben in his last game. He's probably going to take some chances. Considering it's his last game, you have nothing to lose. It's not like he's playing for a contract. I know they have an outside shot. Both these teams have an outside shot at the playoff, or I think maybe just Baltimore now.
They do. They do. They both.
Yeah,
they're both
need a ton of help. It's not going to happen because they all involve the Colts losing to Jacksonville, which is simply not going to happen. But I think I would take a little sprinkle maybe on the Tyler Huntley over 205.5 yards passing, and Ben Roethlisberger 1 interception. If I'm picking a side, it's Baltimore or nothing. Stick a fork in the Steelers; they're dead.
All right, we're going to do a little crowd poll here, Kyle. Ready for this one here? Ask the crowd. Yay or nay, crowd, do the Steelers make the playoffs this year? Let's hear from the crowd. What do they say? Oh!
Okay, they know.
Hell no, they don't.
Steelers aren't making the playoffs. Neither are the Baltimore Ravens. Neither one of these teams are making the playoffs.
Smart crowd right here. All right, let's keep it moving here. Cincinnati and Cleveland. Cincinnati has waved the white flag on the season, and rightfully so. I do see, though, they're starting Jamar Chase because he has a chance to do something special here, record-breaking. You saw it last night with Devontae Smith and the Philadelphia Eagles, breaking the rookie receiving record for the Eagles. The minute he got it, he was out of the game. Jason Kelce started the game to keep his streak alive. He played, Kyle, one play in that game and came immediately out. You'll probably see that from Jamar Chase. But Cincinnati, not pulling a Dallas and saying, we're playing everybody today. They are being smart about it, and I like it. Having said that, I do think Allen will be decent at quarterback today for the Cincinnati Bengals, but you can't rely on a team, Kyle, that's basically saying, we don't give a damn if we're going to play all backups. Do you want to lay the 6 with Cleveland? Not necessarily, but I have to say that's the right way to go for me.
I mean, yeah, and they're starting Case Keenum, right, which kind of makes you like the Cleveland offense a little bit more than Baker. I mean, Baker Mayfield, can we just talk about it? He is absolutely fucking terrible. This is the worst. This might be the worst number 1 overall drafted quarterback, I mean, ever. I mean, worse than Tim Couch. Yeah. Worse than, Ryan Leaf at number 2. He is so bad. I mean, he was the first player in how long to have 10 straight incompletions. He did it on primetime against a not so great Steelers secondary. The Browns are another team. I almost jumped on this over 20.5 at -125, but I'm just done with Cleveland Browns team totals. They're going to run the ball repeatedly to Nick Chubb. No Kareem Hunt, of course, in this game, so it's going to be Dearness Johnson behind him. There's just nothing in this game that I want to touch. Chase McLaughlin, the only real player prop I see is a kicker prop over here at BetMGM. They don't even know what the hell's going on. You can get Jamar Chase over 54.5. Do we trust Brandon Allen to get him the ball that much? Not so much. Stay the hell away. He's going to get forced the ball, though. He's going to get forced. He is. Brandon Allen. Let's put it this way. This is another one of those games. Even if it's my ex-wife's money, I'm not putting a penny on it. Completely.
Games. Let's transition there through the 1 o'clock games. And again, the NFL does this very smartly here by lining these teams up. So you try to get the best performance out of each team with things that teams have to play for. 425s get kicked off here, 455, 456. New England and Miami. We see a line of 6.5 at the FanDuel Sportsbook. 6 is everywhere else. This line opened up at 2.5 here as a favorite for the Patriots. I do agree with this here. Over under at 40.5. Chance of rain showers in the forecast today. But I tell you, I don't have a side in this game, but I took this wager on the FanDuel Sportsbook under match specials. Each team, 2 touchdowns each half for these teams, the Patriots and the Dolphins, not per team. 2 touchdowns in the first half, 2 touchdowns in the second half. Not by either or, not by each one. Just 2 touchdowns in each half pays at a plus 115. I actually put a full unit on that one. So I went 100 to win $115. I think I get 2 touchdowns in the first half and 2 touchdowns in the second half. That's where I went in this one, Kyle.
Yeah, I don't hate that. And the Patriots team total over 22.5 -135 makes a whole lot of sense. This may be in my afternoon tweets. If I'm picking a side of all the sides this week, this is one that I like quite a bit. I don't think the Patriots lose this game or win this game by anything less than a touchdown here. You're getting it under a touchdown. The Dolphins, that Patriots defense is going to have no trouble stopping this Dolphins offense. Tua, not very explosive. The run game, are you really worried about Myles Gaskin and Duke Johnson? No, I like the Patriots here. I think they cover the 5.5, and I like that team total over 22.5 -135.
All right, the Jets and the Buffalo Bills here. Zach Wilson versus Josh Allen. 16-point number here. 41.5 is the total, Kyle. Drops down from a 45.5. Why? Really windy conditions and cold in Buffalo. We'll see how that hampers the offenses on both sides. The one thing that we're watching here, Kyle, because I don't have a wager in this game per se, but I am thinking about Stephon Diggs, 6 catches for $1.5 million, probably the biggest bump of any incentives on the day. I think he's going to get that. But then again, at the FanDuel Sportsbook, Kyle, his total is listed at over 6.5 catches. Tricky.
Very, very tricky. I do like Devin Singletary anytime touchdown. His 72.5 yards makes a lot of sense, too. You mentioned the bad weather, so it makes me lean the under. I don't care who the defense is. This Bills offense has proven time and time again they are not built for the bad weather in their home stadium. Now you've got real bad weather here. You've got a bad offense in the Jets against a good defense in Buffalo. This game screams under to me. But I'm not going to be putting any wagers on this. You're right. Everywhere has Stephon Diggs at 6.5, but he only needs that 6. Once he gets to the 6, if they're up comfortably, don't you see them pulling him out of the game? So I'd be very careful betting those Stephon Diggs props.
All right, here we go. Carolina and Tampa Bay. Sam Darnold and Tom Brady. How about this one here? Opened up at 16 as a favorite. Now down to double digits at 10, and I agree. Why? how banged up are the wide receivers, the running backs here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady, they're going to win this game. But now you're seeing that 10. Are you getting any bit of a little bit of a discount by taking the Buccaneers? Should they roll? Mike Evans wants to get that 1,000 yards here. I do understand that he's going to get fed the football like he does every time he needs us at the end of the year, and I do believe he gets it. But outside of that, it'll be interesting to see because Tampa Bay, again, cannot get that top overall seed in the NFC. So how smart is it going to be to pay all those starters this week in an extended period of time in a game that technically really doesn't matter all that much? Over under 42, I still do lean towards an under here because I'm not in love with the Carolina offense. But this game, Kyle, on my board sheet, I don't have any wagers on this game at all.
No, you can't. Now, when you look at paying team totals, the way you beat Tampa Bay, right, is you got to beat that secondary. It's a bad secondary. So you like Carolina's team total now that they have Sam Darnold, and I know that doesn't make a ton of sense, but he's certainly a more competent passer than Cam Newton. He's certainly able to beat a bad secondary more than Cam Newton. Now, he's still a terrible quarterback, but the Panthers team totals at 16.5. You mentioned it, not all that important for Tampa Bay this game, and you have the weakness is in that secondary. So if they're able to spread it out, throw the ball a little bit, I think they could get to 16 or get to 17 points. So I might, if I was betting this game, which I am absolutely not, lean that Panthers team total for a little bit of pain, hope they get to 17 points, but that's about it for this one.
All right, 467, 468, New Orleans and Atlanta trying to get into the playoffs here are the New Orleans Saints. Need to get some help, but the first thing they do have to win is beat the Atlanta Falcons here. This line opened up at 3.5, now sits at 4.5, and I get the line move, I honestly do. If we're looking at the Atlanta Falcons here, Kyle Pitts, I haven't checked the the inactives aren't out yet. Kyle Pitts, he's going for a record here, but he hurt his hamstring last week, which is disastrous for them. So if we're going to say the Atlanta Falcons, Kyle, have a tight end on one leg with a hamstring that could go at any time, obviously no Calvin Ridley, and all you have is Cordell Patterson, you're going up against a pretty good defense here in the New Orleans Saints. So in this game myself, I'm actually leaning towards the under 40, but I also have sort of, New Orleans should win this game. But again, they don't have to win it in runaway fashion, and their offense, quite frankly, can't win anything in runaway fashion. So I like the under more than anything in this game for me.
Yeah, for me in this game, it's really simple. Alvin Kamara, over 58.5 rushing yards, minus 115. Atlanta absolutely stinks against the run. We know what the New Orleans Saints offensive philosophy is going to be. Run the ball, run some more, maybe a little bit of play action, Taysom Hill to, Marquez Callaway, which is just not a great option here. Alvin Kamara should have a big game today. I like him a lot in DFS. I believe he's 9,200 on FanDuel. It'll surprise me if he doesn't get over that 58.5 rushing yards. Everything else you just simply cannot trust in this game. Saints team total's low, but this is not an explosive offense. For me, it's a prop play. It's Kamara over 58.5 rushing yards, minus 115.
All right, 475, 476, another 4 o'clock game, Seattle and Arizona. This line opened up at 5, now sits at 5.5. Bobby Wagner, key starting linebacker here, probably the best player on their defense, not going to play today. But I do think might be Russell Wilson's last go-around along with Pete Carroll. I think Seattle can keep it close in this game. Over 48.5, I think, is legitimate here. You can actually get a 48 here at the FanDuel Sportsbook. I do like this game towards the over. Also, one of the incentive games per se here, a 1,000-yard season is on the line here for DK Metcalf. Now, hasn't had a great season overall. Hasn't had those monster games that you anticipated. Now, he did score a lot of touchdowns last week, but previously before that, way too many, Kyle, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s game. But I'm going to bet he has a big day today. Over 91 yards at plus 300. What does that 91 yards get him here, Kyle? That gets him a 1,000-yard season. I think he'll be forced to football in this one, and I do think he has a decent game. That's the wager I took in this game as a quick prop, but I do think Seattle Seahawks can hang around this one and cover that number.
Yeah, doesn't AJ Green have an incentive for today as well? I believe he's got some sort of incentive to hit 500,000.
Yeah, he might.
I'm trying to pull it up because his catches are over 4.5 at plus 100. Let me see if I can scroll down here and find out about this AJ Green prop, because he needs 75 yards Sunday to reach 900 receiving yards and a $250,000 bonus. So I could see AJ Green getting to that, and it's probably going to need the 4.5, 5 catches. So I maybe would take that AJ Green over 4.5 plus 100. For me, Arizona wins this game. I'll take them to cover by a touchdown. If they win and the 49ers find a way to beat the Rams, the Cardinals would win that division. So this is a spot where both teams are going to be playing all their guys the entire game. Those are the games we want to focus on. Give me the Cardinals.
All right, so we'll take the Cardinals in that one here. Next up, San Francisco and Los Angeles. 2 good games to end the show here today, Kyle. 49ers here getting 3.5 points. Matthew Stafford at home. They need to win this game to win the division, to solve that second seed. They're going to play hard, but so are the San Francisco 49ers. But I have to say here, this is a big stretch here because Jimmy Garoppolo looks like he's going to start the football game for the 49ers. And to me, I honestly think it's a mistake, and it's crazy. Well, Donnie, this guy's seasoned. He's been around. He's not going to buckle under pressure because he's scared to play football in a big moment. He's played in Super Bowls. I get that, but I don't want to hear it at the end of the first quarter when they're down 10-0, and Jimmy Garoppolo is throwing high and wide and throwing balls into the dirt because he said his thumb felt fantastic all week long here. Well, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but this could be like a referendum game for me on Kyle Shanahan. I love the guy. If he got fired, he'd be hired in minutes. But if you're going to tell me he's going to start Jimmy Garoppolo and Jimmy Garoppolo plays bad and they lose this game, that's on Kyle Shanahan and nobody else in a big moment where you can win and get into the playoffs. I do think, though, the over 44.5 makes sense here. But again, I look at the Rams. I think the Rams win this game. And if it's 3.5, I'm going to take the Rams knowing if Jimmy Garoppolo starts, that's not the side I would have went with there, Kyle.
It's tough for me because Kyle Shanahan has Sean McVay's number, and it doesn't seem to matter who's at quarterback. He finds a way to game plan, and I think a lot of that is if you watch Sean McVay and you watch the Rams, I know he's a smart offensive guy, but they're really basic offensively and defensively. They don't do a lot of trickery. A lot of things come out of the same sets, and Kyle Shanahan will tear that apart because he'll just figure out what you're doing out of those same sets, and he knows how to scheme it both ways. I actually think the 49ers find a way to win here. Am I taking them as a side? I am not. But what I am going to take, you'll probably see this on our Twitter feed here later in the afternoon, the 49ers team total over 19.5 at -145 at BetMGM. The 49ers get to 20 points here. I sort of lean the over in this too. I don't mind the Rams team total over 23.5 -140 either. I think we see points in this game, controlled environment in that dome in LA. If I'm picking a side, this is not a homer pick. Kyle Shanahan has had Sean McVay's number one too many times for me to trust the Rams. Matthew Stafford has not been playing well. He needs to get it going. But the 49ers not to get to 20 points would be really surprising for me. I'll take that team total over 19.5 -145.
All right, Sunday Night Football winning it in here. It seems like, at least for the Chargers, it is Justin Herbert favored by 3 across the board versus the Vegas Raiders and Derek Carr over under 48.5. I do lean the over in this game, but I have a couple things here playing into this one. There's a odds boost here on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Rams, Patriots, and Chargers all to win. No point spreads there, so basically money line. That's a plus 300, which plays in this. But I also bet 4 weeks ago the Chargers to make the playoffs as a wild card at a plus 110 price. So theoretically, if they win, they get in. They will be the wild card in that cashes as well. My mindset hasn't changed here. You give me a healthy Chargers team, which is going to be healthy today. They're a better football team than the Vegas Raiders. I'm taking the Chargers to win this to get in the playoffs today, Kyle.
Yeah, and you sort of hope some of that momentum from last week carries over, and not just winning the game, but stopping the run. They were able to slow down that Broncos running attack, which is a good ground game. That's what they have to do tonight. If they can slow down Josh Jacobs and the Raiders running game, the Raiders do not have the weapons in the secondary at the wide receiver position to beat that pretty good Chargers secondary. I think it's Chargers or nothing here. This is another side I like quite a bit. I think it's a little too short. The Raiders are undermanned and just not a very good football team. I think the Chargers get it done tonight in primetime.
All right, let's end the show with some best bets from us today. I currently have 7 wagers on the board, but my best bet overall, as you guys know, Bears team total over 18. I took it at the Caesars Sportsbook, minus 135, so it's $135 I laid to win 100. Also bet DK Metcalf over 91 yards today at plus 300. Jonathan Taylor, 200 rushing yards or 3 touchdowns. That pays out at a plus 450 price. I also took 2 touchdowns in each half for the Patriots and the Dolphins at plus 115. I also have the Rams, Patriots, and Chargers to win on the FanDuel Sportsbook as an odds boost at plus 300, as well as Jonathan Taylor, 100 rushing yards or more, and a Colts victory. The one wager I take is my long shot of the day, which has no chance in hell of cashing, but I had to take it anyway. Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, and Mac Jones each to throw more than 1.5 touchdown passes. So again, 2 touchdown passes apiece. That's 33 to 1. I bet $50 to win $1,650 on that, Kyle. What do you have as your best bet?
Well, God, you're a lot more exciting today than I am. Good Lord. I just got a few team totals here in the morning. Love that Bears team total over 19.5 minus 135. Titans team total over 26.5 minus 135. In the afternoon, I'm going to be on that 49ers over 19.5 at minus 145. And more than likely, I'll be tweeting out, I do think the Patriots cover today as well against the Miami Dolphins.
All right, fastest 30 minutes in football, as Kyle likes to say. We are out of here, but guys, make sure you join us tomorrow as we get after it. Why? Because the NFL is going to start the playoffs and also the College Football National Championship. Thanks again for joining us today on the show. If you haven't subscribed to us right here on the YouTube channel, please do that right away and turn your notification bells on. When we go live, you'll get that delivered directly to your inbox. Give us a follow also on Twitter. That's at BMR Reviews. For Donnie RightSide, for Kyle Purviance, we are BMR, and as always, good luck on those wagers.